Good morning, guys. I'm an English teacher, and today we are going to start a poem of Sylvia Plath. I don't know you have all heard about Sylvia Plath or not, guys, but she's a very famous poetess, and we can say she is a conventional poet. So, guys, before starting the poem, it's quite important to know the poet about her life, career, and work, as it's reflect the poem, and we can understand the poem more easily. So let's discuss about the poet first of all, that is Sylvia Plath, guys. So she was a confessional poet. Guys, do you know what confessional means? Confessional means, for example, you have seen people go to churches. Those who are Christian or those who are even non-Christian, those people, they used to go to churches. What people do in church, whatever sin or whatever mistake, whatever wrong they have done or they have committed, what they exactly do, they just join their hands, pray to God and confess for their mistakes. God, I have done this mistake, please forgive me. So this is what confession means. And there are a lot of confessional poets, as you can see. Sylvia Plath is one. You can see, if you come to Indian poets, Kamala Das is one of the confessional poet, guys. So similarly, we can understand that confessional poetry is a kind of poetry where the poet expresses own feelings and experiences. Understood, guys? Now we will know a little bit more about the poetess. Okay, see, and there are many other poets who are we are very popular for the confessional poetries. Like you can say Anne Taxon, Robert Logan, and also we are going to read the poem about Sylvia Plath. Well, so Sylvia Plath was a very disturbed personality, guys. Do you know why she was a very disturbed personality? Because she was married to a great poet named Ted Hughes. You have heard about the name Ted Hughes, I hope. And if you haven't heard, you can just click over to Google and you can see his name, Ted Hughes. He had just wrote a lot of poems, you can see. So here, the poetess Sylvia Plath, she was married to Ted Hughes. But what happened? She later on got separated with her husband, got divorced, because of some personal disturbances with her husband. So she was having two children, and what she did, she started living her life in a very miserable way. You can see miserable means in a very disturbed way. And finally, at the age of 30, she committed suicide. Okay, she died. So the whole poetry is very melancholy in tone. Melancholy, you understand, it's a very sad kind of tone it is having. Okay, you have seen the movies, you have seen songs, sad songs. You understand there is a sad lyrics, there is a happy lyric, like this. Here the poet has used melancholy tone in this poem. Understood? Now, guys, do you know how the poetess died? The poetess died as, what she did is, she just hit her head in a hot oven and she died at the age of 30. Okay, guys, now, so you can understand how disturbed and agitated was the person who the poetess Sylvia Plath was. Anyways, like the Colossal is one of her most popular poem, and one more is Belzar. She has also written the poem Belzar, but Belzar was not published when she was alive. After her death, Belzar was published. Okay, guys, so this was all about the poet. And the poet was actually, she was an American poet. Now let's read the poem and just let's know what the poet has used, what alliteratory devices she has used, and what is the poem all about. Okay, so Mirror is a very small poem, guys, of approximately 18 lines, 9 lines per stanza. Per stanza 9 lines and approximately 18 lines. Okay, guys, well, now we can see that the poem is more or less like a riddle. Riddle, you understand, guys? Riddle means something, in the whole poem, you will try to find out who the narrator is. Who is narrating the poem in reality? Something secret is there. Secret is in that poem till the end. Your mind will scrounge some or other thing. Your mind will search some or other thing in the poem. So please, let's read the poem and just let know what the poetess has said in this poem, The Mirror. So, guys, all of you know mirror is an object. Mirror is an object. So, What is an object? Mirror, fan, table. So mirror is an object. So here first of all I will read the lines and I will explain you so that you will understand it more clearly. Okay guys? Well, so here first guys I'm looking at the text here by side and I'm just reading it out loud first of all. I am silver and exact. I have no preconceptions. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately, just as it is unlisted by love or dislike. Okay, I am not cruel, only truthful. So this is the first stanza. So what the poetess Sylvia Plath is trying to say in the first stanza is that I am silver and exact. Guys, who I is over here? Can you answer me? Yes, I'll say right now. I here refers to the mirror. Here I is not the narrator, I is not the poet, but I is the object, the mirror. So what I refers to here? The mirror. What I is saying, what the mirror is saying. Okay guys, point to be noted. Can a mirror speak? No. So here the poetess has used literary device, that is personification. What a personification means, when any object is being given the quality of a person or traits of a person. For example, here mirror is speaking, but mirror can't speak. So it is a human trait being compared to the mirror, the object. So here it is being personified. So the literary device personification is used over here, as you can see. So what the mirror is saying, first of all, the mirror is saying that I am silver and exact. Means the mirror is silverish in color and exact. Exact means, for example, whenever you go and stand in front of the mirror, what you see? The reflection of yourself. If you put an apple in front of the mirror, you will see the reflection of an apple. For example, I'll show you one thing. Well guys, this is a pen. Okay, so now I'm doing the video. This is again a reflection, a kind of mirror. If I put this pen in front of the mirror like this, I'll see the exact reflection of as it is. Okay guys? So what we found is that the mirror is exact, means it is true. I have no preconceptions. Now again I is used for mirror. Now what the mirror is saying? The mirror is saying I have no preconceptions. My dear students, do you know what preconceptions is? Preconception means, for example, I don't have any idea or I don't have any knowledge, but I show exact the way it is. मुझे पहले से कुछ पता नहीं होता ये चीज़ कैसा है और मुझे उसके बारे में क्या बोलना है, लेकिन when I see, I just reflect as it is. Understood guys? So it is showing its truthfulness, its loyalty, that whatever I just come in front of me, I just throw it exactly. Understood guys? Now what it is saying? Whatever I see, I swallow immediately. Who? What do you mean by swallow? Means to eat something without chewing it, just to gulp. Okay? For example, you drink water, you eat noodles, you just swallow the noodles. Okay, the birds swallow the insects. So here the mirror is swallowing what? Immediately, instantly, suddenly. What? Just as it is, unmisted by love or dislike. Very good example here the poetess Sylvia Plath has used, guys. That is what? For example, you love someone, you love a friend, or you love your mother. How will you behave? Oh mom, I really love you. Oh, wow, you're my best friend, you know. And your facial expression will be like this. For example, one of your, enemy comes in front of you. A person with whom you always fight. What do you say? Oh, you just go out from here. Suddenly your expression will change as well. So, but human being is such that his expressions or his behavior changes from love to dislike. But the mirror is saying here, I am just as it is. I am like that. Even if I have personal love for someone, but I will reflect what it is. I never do partiality or I never pretend. Okay? I am not cruel. Now the mirror is saying, I am not cruel. I show the reality. That doesn't mean I'm having something revenge upon you, or I'm not cruel. Only truthful. I'm only truthful. What I see, that I reflect. Understood, guys? Now coming over to the second stanza. So you understood the first stanza clearly, guys? This is all about personification and a lot of imageries even the poetess has used over here. As you can see here, I'm silver and exact. Silver is the color. This is the imagery. This is the image we can think of the mirror. Understood, guys? And coming over to the second stanza. Now the poetess has more beautifully explained this poem. Guys, you have to, this is full of riddles, and you have to know how Sylvia Plath is very much stressed and frustrated because of her old aging, and she's losing her youth, she's losing her beauty. So what she is doing, guys, she was frustrated as she was divorced from her husband. So she tried committing suicide 3 times in her life, and the third time she succeeded. Okay, so second stanza we will know what she is trying to say here. The eye of a little god four-cornered. Guys, eye of a little god four-cornered means the mirror is square in shape and it has 4 corners. Understood? 1, 2, 3, 4. You all have mirror in your home. You have seen if you have a square or rectangular side mirror. There are 4 corners in the mirror. Now, the poetess Sylvia Plath, just to justify the trueness of mirror, what she's trying to do, she has compared the mirror to the little eyes of God, because God resembles truthfulness. God is always true. So does the mirror. Mirror is always true. Mirror is also true like the God. Understood? Now, what it is saying, most of the time meditate on the opposite wall. Now, most of the time the mirror is meditating on the opposite wall. What do you mean by meditating, guys? You have done yogas, you have done meditation, means closing your eyes and staying in relaxation. But again, personification being used here. But guys, can a mirror meditate? Only a human being can meditate. But here the word meditation is being used as personification. Understood? Now see what actually the poetess is trying to say over here, guys. Actually the poetess is trying to say, whenever someone is coming in front of the mirror is hanged like, for example, I'm turning like this, the mirror is hanged over here, okay? And I'm standing in front of the mirror, I'm looking at my face, oh, how beautiful I am, or whatever, I'm ugly, whatever. Maybe the mirror is soothing me, or maybe I don't like if I'm getting old, if I'm growing old, or if my complexion is getting dark. But now, when I will just go away from the mirror, in front of the mirror, अब मैं mirror के front से चली जाती हूँ. Fine. I went away from the mirror. Now it's empty, so the mirror will see the wall in front of it. What will the mirror see? The wall in front of it. Now the mirror is explaining that in front of me, when faces comes and goes, okay, there's a wall. When nobody is there, so I just face the wall. Now I meditate. The wall meditates. It is pink with speckles. I have looked at it so long. I think it is a part of my heart, but it flickers. Faces and darkness separate us over and over. Guys, now in this stanza, what the poetess is trying to say that, now it is just, the poet is explaining the color of the wall. So how is the color of the wall, guys? It is pink with speckles. Speckles means dotted, spotted. What does it mean, speckled? Means, for example, with the growing, for example, now I'm 26 or 27. After some days I'll grow old. As you have seen your grandmothers and grandfathers and elderly people in your neighborhood, their skin gets wrinkles. I'll get old, I'll get wrinkled, I'll bend. So my charm and my youth will die. Similarly, this wall, it seems with its spots that it's been so long. Okay, the wall bhi ekdam spotted ho chuka hai. It's pink in color. And you know, guys, what exactly pink shows over here? The poetess, because pink is the favorite color of girls. So the poetess is trying to show femininity with this color pink. So this room is the room of a woman. Room is the room of a lady. Or room is the room of a girl. Understood? That the mirror is saying over here. Understood, guys? Here the mirror is the speaker. Totally personification goes to the mirror. Because from the beginning, Sylvia Plath has personified mirror. Understood, guys? Well, now what it is saying, guys, see? I have looked at it so long, means the wall. It's talking about the wall. Mirror is talking about the wall, that it has looked at it so long. Now what is saying? I think it is a part of my heart. What is part of mirror's heart? Does mirror have a heart? It's a beautiful picture and again a personification, guys. Mirror is never a heart, okay? Mirror doesn't have a heart, but it is saying, mirror is saying that this wall, I'm so attached to this pink wall that it has become a part of my heart. Understood? Personification as well as imagery. Understood, guys? Now what it is saying, faces and darkness separate us over and over. Now who is getting separated from whom, guys? Can you tell me? Well, the mirror is getting separated from the wall. The mirror is getting separated from the wall. Okay, how? Because whenever suppose I stand in front of the mirror, so what will happen? The lady comes in front of the mirror, the wall hides. Okay, the wall hides. And what happens when night comes and you switch off the lights? Then also darkness will come. So the darkness and faces separate both mirror and wall again and again, because the lady comes again and again. The lady comes again and again. She contemplates. She sees her beauty. She sees her face and goes away. So this is how the poet has explained it very beautifully, guys. Now moving over to the next stanza, guys. This is a very beautiful poem, I can say. Okay. Now I am a lake. There's a complete transition in the poem. Now what it is doing? Now the mirror is comparing himself with a lake. You know lake? Like a river. So whenever you just see your face or bend down the river or water, you see your reflection. Water also show you reflection. Isn't it or not? Yes, it shows reflection. So like the lake shows the clear, crystal clear reflection. Similarly, the mirror also shows the reflection. So here, the mirror has compared himself with the lake. Now what is happening? A woman bent over me, searching my reaches what she really is. Now what that lady, that woman who comes again and again in front of the mirror is doing, the mirror is saying that the lady is trying to contemplate her beauty inside me. And she's trying to see how beautiful she is, what she really is. She is searching her own identity in the mirror. Okay, the mirror is saying all this. Now, then she turns to those liars, candles or the moon. Guys, see, very interesting. After contemplating into the mirror is comparing himself into lake. What the lady is doing? Maybe she is not satisfied with the mirror. Why? Because when she comes in front of the mirror, she saw her real face. Okay, and maybe she is growing old, due to which she was not satisfied. She got frustrated, again compared with the life of Sylvia Plath. Her stress. This is a confessional poem. So what the lady is doing, she's turning to those candles and those moon. Candles, if you stay near the candle, there is complete darkness. Through that candle light, you will see your shadow, but not the complete image or reflection like the mirror does. Okay, and the moon, it will also show you shadow. So at least what is happening? At least the lady is getting a satisfaction when she is watching that her shadows are beautiful at least. But those are liars. Who are liars over here, guys? That moon and who? Candlelight is liar because it only shows the shadow. It does not reflect as it is. But again, mirror is trying to express its loyalty, truthfulness, but I don't do that. Now let's read next, guys. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. Now what mirror is saying? That I see it back means mirror, see the lady back and reflect it faithfully. Faithfully it tells what it looks like. Understood, guys? Now, she rewards me with tears and an agitation of hand. What the mirror is doing, after just looking at a shadow in the moonlight and candlelight, what the lady is doing, she is again turning towards the mirror and the mirror shows her the reality, and the lady rewarded the mirror. How? Means the mirror took the lady's tears as reward. The lady started crying because she is losing her beauty with her old age. Again, it is being compared to the like suffering life of Sylvia Plath. Understood, guys? Now next, I am important to her. This is the last stanza and very important stanza, guys. Mirror is saying again personification and full of imagery is used here, guys. It is saying that I am important to her. I means the mirror is important to the lady who again and again comes and contemplating her beauty in front of the mirror. She comes and goes every morning. And every morning the lady comes and sees her face and goes. So what happens, guys? Let me see. In me, in that replaces the darkness. So when the lady comes in the morning, the darkness she replaces the darkness and looks herself. Okay, now what is happening, guys? In me, very important line, please note it. In me she has drawn a young girl, and in me an old man. Guys, very good personification and imagery. In me she has drawn a young girl. It shows that the mirror has been there since a long time, as when that lady was young. Since then she was coming and looking herself in the mirror. So mirror was since then, and now the lady has grown old, and still the mirror is admiring the lady. The lady still goes and look herself at the mirror. Understood? So rises towards her day after day like a terrible fish. Very important line, means rises towards her day after, means she is growing towards the old age. Her old age is growing. She is growing old and old like a terrible fish. Guys, very beautiful terrible fish is being used over a comparison. You can say personification also. What terrible fish exactly mean, guys? Terrible fish means, guys, the ugliness of the face being of the lady being compared with a terrible fish, as she was not happy, as she was not satisfied, guys. Understood? Okay, guys. Now at last we will see that. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Give me time, please. Guys, so completely she has lost her weight, lost her youth. So we come to know, I have talked about that Sylvia Plath was like she was suffering from depression. Okay, so this is how the poem ends in a very good way. So this is a very good poem of Sylvia Plath. After this poem only she died in the year 1936, as you all know. So guys, we will see a little bit the literary devices that has been used in this poem by Sylvia Plath. Those are metaphor. Metaphor is being used by here. As you can see the line, in me she has drawn a young girl and an old woman. Okay, this is a kind of metaphor because it's a straightforward comparison. Okay, understood, guys? And secondly, it's a part of my heart. What? The wall. Understood? Again, it's a metaphor. Similarly, omen is compared to a terrible fish. Understood? This is also a metaphor. Now, second literary device is your personification, guys. Personification, you know well, like mirror is being personified. How mirror is being personified? I have no preconception. Does mirror have ideas? Is it a human being? No, it's an object. So how can it have ideas? So here personification is, lot of lines you will see in this poem, personification is used. Now at last, literary device imagery is being used. You can see pink wall with speckles, flickers, faces and darkness, moving, all these things are your imagery. So this is how, guys, this poem is completed. Okay, guys, hope you understood this poem well. And now your homework is, guys, you have to just write down the literary devices and its explanation. Okay, guys? Thank you, guys.